complete Indian team with Oven Media at India. He's a director at this location. So it would be great, Desh, if you could give us your introduction, a brief run about your profile, and what exactly do you understand the job description which you have shared with respect to this position.
Okay, so myself Intisham, and I have around 2 years of experience in .NET development. So I have worked on ASP.NET, MVC, jQuery, JavaScript, C#. So these are the technologies that I have worked on. And if you talk about the current project, so the current project is LDP. So LDP is basically client, and it's a healthcare related project. So there are two phases in the project. So we are working on the phase 2. So we are receiving the EDI files from the client, and we are processing those files and generating the CSV that require for their internal healthcare process. So so these are the technology set and project that I have worked on.
Okay, so what do you say, sir?
Thank you, Devshree. I'm just going through your resume at Islam. So you are working with Wazirex group in Bhiwandi?
Yes, it's nearby Thane.
Okay. So you joined over there in 2021, right?
2021, yeah.
And you are still working with the same company?
Yes, so around 3 years completed with this organization.
Not 3 years, you just completed, yeah, 3 years.
3 years, right? Yeah.
So what is the reason you started looking for a job?
The Wazirex is lost the contract with the client. So the client who was a healthcare client is a LDP. So they are deploying us on the LDP, and Wazirex is a payroll company, and it's a consulting company. So client is ending up the contract in April. So they don't have project in the .NET domain. So they have asked me to work on the different the automation project, performance automation projects. So I want to work with the development side. So that's the reason I'm looking for job change.
Okay. So you are serving a notice right now?
No, as of now.
Okay, because in your, I think Devshree, you have mentioned that he's serving a notice in the email.
No, not serving the notice, but they have already given the notice to us, so they will release immediately.
How much immediately? Means on the spot?
Not on the spot. They have asked for the 15 days.
So that's what thing you should mention, no?
Okay, sorry sir, that was missed by.
So how much total experience you have working in an MVC?
So all experiences in MVC around 3 years. Just completed the 3 years. So initial 3 months they have given the training, because I started with the basic .NET web form, and they have given the MVC training, and we were working with the MVC project now. So you can consider it's like 2.5 year in MVC, and overall experience I will complete 3 years.
Great. So one of the project is bank statement analyzer. What you are doing in this project?
So in the bank statement analyzer, it is the clone like the aggregator. There is only one more product in India with the same like aggregator. So what that product is doing, we are uploading the bank statement. Actually, first of all, I will explain what is the audience, what is the user of that particular product. The users are the credit managers that are approving the loan, and some users are like the DSAs. Those are working with the banks to approve the loan and all. So those are the users. So they are putting up the PDF in the product, and PDF is extracting the records and putting down dumping down in a database. Then we are one by one we are filtering and cleansing the data and putting into the online database. With that database decide how much time that ECS bounces, how many loans that is already running, and all these things. So and also your average monthly balance will be calculated, how that is calculated, and your file, how much your file is strong. So that decision was taken by those data. So the project is divided into two modules. The first module that is for the bulk upload module. In the bulk upload they are dumping the data into the database, and in the another module they have written the jobs. So the jobs is picking up the record and cleansing the data and updating into their database, because each of the PDF has a different format. Like ICICI Bank has different format, HDFC has a different format. So they are dumping the data, then based on that they are extracting the record, and based on that they have created a report like how much you have spent on the food, how much you have spent on the EMIs, how much time your check has bounces. So all these things. So that kind of product that is.
So what all modules you have developed in this product?
So I haven't developed the entire module, any of the module, but I work with the Excel uploader also, because the product is already developed and running. So we are getting the CR, change requests for the same. So I completed the CR, like there is a new bank uploaded every time, any new bank like having a different PDF format. So we need to write the implementation for the cleansing data for those bank, because nowadays we have different bank like corporate banking. Some banks has their bank statement in .txt file, some has in the Excel, some has like in the PDF. In the PDF they also have the 4-column PDF, 5-column PDF, like closing balance we are having. Sometimes we don't have the closing balance. So that type of implementation I have completed. So for the Dena Bank and Canara Bank implementation, I worked on those implementation to getting the data. So that module is called the data extraction module. So I work on that module as well. Apart from that, they also have a report. There they have a chart and all. So I have created some of the charts in the report. So for that I use D3 for generating the charts, and jQuery charts as well. So I have experience in the both, and also apart from this chart and all, some jobs they have written. So I changed some of the logic in the job as well. So that kind of work I did.
So while you were working on data extraction, what was the team size?
So overall team size of 8 people, not like a team is assigned for a specific module. We are all and soul working with the product is divided into two modules. So one team is handling the module like, so we are working with the reporting module, like reporting and jobs, and one is for the data dump team. That team is dumping the data, the raw data. So they are using like SQL bulk and all, but we are not working. So we are just getting the data in a proper format in our database.
So what was the database server you use in this?
Sorry.
What is the database server you have
SQL
used?
server. SQL server.
Which version?
Version I think 14. Not sure, but SQL server 2012 I believe we are using. Version is I think 14. V14 I have seen somewhere on the server.
What is this Liberty Dental plan?
That Liberty dental plan is it's a healthcare product. It's a client product actually. So for this product, we are receiving the EDI files divided into two phases. In the first phases, we are receiving the EDI file. For the EDI file, it will.
What do you mean by EDI file? What is the format? What kind of data you receive in EDI files?
To be honest, I don't know that because I am working in the phase 2. So from the EDI, they are generating the CSV, and we are getting the CSV, and we need to write the mapping for the same. Like they have given the format for the input and output format of the CSV, and the input CSV has a raw data, so we need to write the automapper. Already automapper code is there. We need to add a model and write the automapper code for the same. So it is generating the output file, output CSV. So they are calling it a load file. So that load file they are sending to the client, and client is reviewing those files, and they have n number of clients like Spencer, Teamster. So these are the clients. So for each client we have common code. So what we need to do, we need to change the client name when we are running for that particular client. So we need to change the client name in the configuration, and we are running. So there is a switch case is already written for the same. So in the configuration with those switch case, those client name is coming, it is generating the file for that particular client. And for each client we are creating a separate folder and adding the interface and implementation for those client as well. But the load generator, the automapper code is common for all clients.
So that code generator and automation code that is already been written, right?
Yeah, that I mean we received that project from the client, so we are giving the service. So that code was already written. We are adding the mapping, and we have changed some of the logic there as well, because sometimes they are picking the input file from the different location. So those configuration and the changes we have done. So there are a lot of CR they are giving on the common module as well, and in the client specific one. So client specific one is coming regularly. So we are receiving the client input and output files. We just need to write the mapping in the automapper and generate the model for the same. But sometime sometime the client is also giving the LDP owners also giving like these we have already written this logic, we need to change like this way. So we are also managing that one, that code changes as well.
So how will you rate yourself for MVC out of 10?
8.
8. What are the main advantages of MVC?
Main advantage of MVC is over the web form. If you talk about like it's a separation of concern, it supports the TDD approach as well, support the test driven development as well. Apart from that, MVC does not have the page lifecycle, it has a request lifecycle. So in the request you can inject the code using filter and all. So these are the I can see the advantage over the web form, because I started career with the web form, and in the web form we are having the pages like code behind file, and the X pages we are just double clicking on the button and writing the code there. So as compared to web form, we have a separation of concern, like model is having their own approach, controller is receiving the file, we can inject the custom logic. So this advantage of MVC I can see.
What are the filters available in MVC?
Filters, there are four types of filter: action filter, authorization filter, exception filter, and result filter. So these are 4 filters. The filters are basically injecting the custom logic inside your MVC request processing. Let's say you want to execute 4 line of code before your action, before each action method has to be executed. So you will write action filter for the same. So in the action filter, you are having on action executing and on action executed function. So in the on action executing, you can write so that code will be executed before the action.
What do you mean by authorization filter?
Authorization filter, if you want to restrict user to execute a specific action method, so you will write you will create a authorization filter. So there is a function called authorize score. So there we can decide if we want to allow that particular user to access those particular action method or not.
What do you mean by routing?
Routing is a way to bind your URL to your action method.
How is routing carried out in MVC pattern?
In app_start folder we have route config file. There we can specify the controller action, controller place of the controller and action with the route parameter as well, and also you can specify the routing pattern with the multiple routing in the app config file. So this is routing.
What is the importance of non-action attribute?
Non-action attribute is used where if you want to create a public function inside the controller, but you don't want to execute that function using your route, using URL, so you will write non-action attribute, so that will not that function is not available for the routing.
Okay. What is the difference between view result and action result?
View result, action result is common for all type of result, and view result is specific for view only.
Can you explain me with an example?
If you writing return action result, so you can result any type of, 1 second. Sorry for interruption. So action result and view result. So action result, let's say in any action method, if you are writing action result, so you can return any type of result like JSON result and all, but if you are writing view result, so you just need to return the view result only. So action result is common for all.
What is scaffolding?
Scaffolding, when we need to generate the code in Visual Studio, it's a T4 template actually that is generating the code inside the Visual Studio. That is scaffolding is.
Why we use scaffolding?
Why we are using? To be honest, like in our project we haven't used the scaffolding, but when we did the practice in the MVC, so we are generating the view code using the scaffolding. So I mean the real-time use I don't know actually.
So in your resume you written about the web API. So can you just explain me what is web API?
Yeah, web API is a way to pass or expose your SQL Server data in the form of JSON. So you can write the actions in the web API, and that data will be available in the form of JSON in the Postman.
You have said that you have worked on. What do you mean by entity framework?
What do you mean by entity framework? Is used For your relational database and object and relational table mapping, like let's say you are creating any table in relational database in SQL Server. Now you want to access data from this table and store into a object. So entity framework is the bridge between these two. So it's object relational mapping tool.
How the connection is being created between these two?
So to create a connection, we will create a DB context class. So there is a DB context class already present in system.entity namespace. So you need to inherit that class and specify the connection string inside the constructor. So it will create the connection.
What you have worked on LinkQ?
When we are getting a data from the database, so it's a list of object. So for the filtration sorting, we can do using the LinkQ, like using where, using select on those lists.
Which are the HTML helpers available in MVC?
HTML helper, HTML help by the predefined helpers, right? So these HTML dot textbox solve, these are the helpers.
What is the difference between temp data, view data and view bag?
View bag and view data is used to transfer data from your controller to view, and if you want to transfer data from controller to controller, then we will use temp data.
Can you give me an example for three of them?
Okay, so let's say you are having a table and you are getting the list of customer from the database with the help of entity framework. So now you have a list of customer and you want to pass those customer, or you want to display that list of customer in HTML view. So that list you can pass using the view back from your controller to view. So that in this example you can use view bag and view data both. And let's say you have two action method in the same controller, or might be the different controller, and you have calculated something, or you are getting data from one action method and you want to use that data in another action. So in that case you can use a temp data.
What is output caching in MVC?
Output caching is create a cache on the action method. So any new request in the time duration came on that particular action will not be executed, and result will be sent back from the cache. So output cache is an attribute. We can write down output cache on the top of action method. So there we need to specify the time in the minutes. Let's say 20 minutes we have specified. In the 20 minutes any new request came on that action method, so the old response will be displayed instead of executing the action method.
What do you mean by bundling and minification?
Okay, bundling and minification is a feature in MVC. Bundling is like because of many modern browser does not support the simultaneous request, only the 6 requests is supported. So if we have let's say 20 JavaScript files that is loading with the request, so that will slow down the page. So what we can do, we can bundle the JavaScript inside a single bundle that will be loaded in the single request. So in the MVC we have option to create a bundle of two type of files like script and style. So we can create a script bundle and style bundle as well. So it will boost up the performance using the bundling. And when we are doing the bundling, the MVC is automatically doing the minification for the same. So the minification is a process of minifying the code. The long variable name will be converted into the short and removing the spaces. So minification will give you the advantage where the file is loading very fast, like with the spaces the JavaScript file is having a 20 KB, and after minification that will become the 1 KB or 2 KB because those files are loaded with the each request if we are doing the control F5. So in that case request will be optimized properly with the help of minification and bundling.
So coming to a database, what all functions or what all things you have used in this database, SQL database?
Sorry,
what all items from the SQL server you have used till now?
Okay. So I have written a stored procedure, created temp table, also created view, and we are executing the query to checking the data like select query, insert, update, delete those queries. And also for one of the table I have created an index as well to boost up the performance, and also SQL profiler I have used to check the query execution plan. Yeah, that's it.
So what are the database objects available in SQL Server?
Table, sequence, index, programmability in stored procedure function, views, index, sequence, table, view, SP function, triggers, SP trigger. Yeah, I recall only those.
What is the main difference between stored procedure and a function?
A function is used for the selecting values and returning the single value using the selected statement. But if you want to do the DML operations, so you need to write a SP. And if you want to return multiple values from this database, so you can use stored procedure, but function is always return single value. And in the stored procedure, you can call the function, but in the function you can't call the stored procedure. And you can create a temp table and all in SPs, but in the function you can't.
Why we create indexes?
To boost up the query performance of a specific table.
Types of indexes available?
Cluster and non-cluster.
What is the difference?
Cluster index is a non-cluster index is a single on a specific table, and the cluster index you can create a multiple cluster index on it on a specific what we can say a specific table. Cluster index will store their index in a separate space, and non-cluster index store in the same table. And a non-cluster is created on the primary key, but for the another one we don't require the primary key.
So you mean to say if I want to create an index on a non-primary key field, then I won't be able to create a non-cluster index on non-primary key?
I think yes.
What yes? I won't be able to create, right?
Yeah, I mean we can't.
Okay. So have you ever tried on creating a non-cluster index on a non-primary key?
No, I haven't tried.
That's okay. So how do you pronounce your name? Atisam, Atis, how do you pronounce?
Etisham.
Atisam. Okay. And Bilal is your father's name?
Yes.
Okay.
And Malbavi is surname.
Yeah, that I got it. So you are basically from?
Kerala.
Kerala. And right now you are in Mumbai?
Yes. I am born and brought up in Mumbai.
Okay, you are born and brought up in Mumbai only. So, what is the reason you are choosing from work from office and work from home? Why you are moving to work from home then?
Actually, I am living here in Bhiwandi. That's a downside area. I mean, 57 kilometer from the Mumbai, and the traveling is a big headache from here to Mumbai. So that's the reason I am preferring the work from home.
Okay. Anything you would like to ask?
About the project, like you are taking the round, so you will be the manager, or it's a bulk hiring, like, because there are a lot of interview happening like in the bulk hiring side of things, so that's the reason.
No, I am not. I am not having a bulk hiring.
Okay.
I am having a 2 positions open.
Okay, in your team.
Yeah, in my team. Actually, the whole in the India office is my team. But in the department,
Yeah,
I have a
I
few
have
of the
seen your
opening.
LinkedIn profile.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So it's like we are having 2 of the openings, and the reason why I'm taking the interviews is what I have to take care about the .NET things.
Okay.
So that's the reason I don't want to interview any of the persons who take the first round, then it comes to second.
Yeah,
to
actually, I was a bit confused because I have seen you're working as a director here, and you are visible in the very first round. So I'm a bit confused. Like it's a bulk hiring, like because the director has a lot of team and you're putting it anywhere. So that's
No, it's not like that. I am the one who is picking up the a fruit which I like it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that was the reason that I am not involving any other team members or any other persons or any, because they will go on, they will take around. It may happen that they don't like, but I could like. So I just take
So
directly for
in hiring, you are very choosy.
Yeah, I am very choosy, because the person who stays with me, they stays with me.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So that's the reason for what I prefer is, if I am satisfied that yeah, he is the one who can work on it, so I have a less tension for the work, because I know if I am assigning a work, the person to whom I am assigning the work is definitely going to complete it, and I am going to get the result at the end of the day. So that was the reason, so that I don't hear it from any other team member that it was like there was some issue, we got stuck, and we need more time, we need more days. That's what I don't want like it.
Yeah, understood.
Right? So that was the reason I started the first interviews, and that will be a final interviews. There are a few more interviews scheduled with me, with other candidates also. So it was nice talking with you. But
Yeah, thank
do you
you.
have any other questions? Or
No,
you
no,
would
no.
like
As
to,
of now,
do you
no.
have anything?
As
Not
of
now?
now, no.
Are you holding any of the offer right now?
No.
Okay. So Atish, I have this full week schedule with all the interviews. So most probably my if there is something positive, then my HR will, even if there is something negative, my HR will get back to you and give you a feedback that what is the result of the interview.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
ऐसा लग रहा था हम लोग दोनों अलग खेल रहे। इतना इम्प्रेस हो गया ना, इससे क्या कितना क्विक क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था। देखे उसकी रिकॉर्डिंग, 1 मिनट को रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दो।